Hello again. I thought I'd share my sausage casserole with you. It's quite a favourite in our family. It's got a slight sort of appley flavour as well, which is lovely. Now you're going to need a frying pan, and in that you'll need some olive oil to begin with, because we're going to fry some of the ingredients before they go into the casserole. So it's about a dessert spoon of olive oil, and we get that warming up. And to that I've already chopped an onion, and this is going to be enough for 2 people who are quite hungry or 3 people who are not so hungry. So 1 medium-sized onion is perfect. That's going to go in, and to that we add a little box of pancetta. It's about the equivalent of 3 rashers of bacon, which you will need to cut into little tiny pieces, and that goes in and that fries with the onion. And smoked is always better because it's got more flavour. So this is smoked pancetta, and the weight of this little box is 160 grams. So they go in and they start to fry. Now the pan's not very hot at the moment, so I'll just tell you that I'm going to use this cast iron one in the oven. It's got a lid, so I'll fry things and put them into there, and then that goes in the oven and it will cook for about an hour. And if I were you, I'd think ahead and I'd put a couple of jacket potatoes in the oven as well, and you could even put in a crumble, so you've got a full oven making full use of the power that you're using. So we'll get this to sizzle up, and the onion will soften and the pancetta will start to go a little bit brown. Right, so that's taken about 2 or 3 minutes, and they've started to, the onion has started to soften, the pancetta has started to go brown, and now I'm going to put this into my casserole. So I'm going to use a fish slice. I want to keep some of that fat and oil. And then the next thing that will go in here will be the onions. And it's always a good idea to buy the best you can, or the ones that are on special offer. It's entirely up to you. But I always avoid the ones that are really, really high in meat. You want a good meat content, but if you get up above 95%, they're actually quite difficult to digest. Right, so the next thing are the sausages. And I'm going to use a pair of tongs for this. And you want to get these to go a little bit brown all the way round, otherwise it looks a bit insipid. Yeah, so 2 or 3 each, depending on hunger levels. And they will spit. So again, this is going to take several minutes. You want to turn them round and get each side nice and brown, so it just looks a bit more appetising. Now the sausages have taken 3 or 4 minutes. I've turned them so that they get brown on each side, or all round really, because they just need to be turned, and then you get a nice appetising colour on them. You're not cooking them at this stage, they'll cook in the oven, but you just want your sausages to look more appealing. And when they get to this stage, I'm going to just turn that down a little bit, and I'm going to put the sausages in with the onion and bacon. There we are. I'll give all this a good old mix in a minute. Spread those round a bit in the casserole. Right, now, this is where it gets noisy, because I'm going to add a bottle of cider to this pan. This is the appley bit, and it will sizzle because the pan's very hot. So, any sort of cider, whatever you like. Get that in. And then to that, we're going to add the thickening, so you'll get a nice sauce. And that is about, well, it's not about, it is a good dessert spoon of plain flour. We sprinkle that in, and while the cider is cold, it won't go lumpy, so we need to whisk. Turn the heat back up again, and as you whisk, you'll break up all the lumps of flour, and that will be a nice smooth gravy. So this has got to boil, and when it boils, it'll have thickened. It's a bit drastic and it can really spit, so just be brave and put the bottle of cider in. Now can you see that that's already looking sort of creamy, thicker, and we will have a nice gravy. Just whisk gently, you don't want to scratch your pan, but it stops the lumps. And by adding the flour to the cold cider, it's much easier to get rid of any lumps that appear, and it doesn't go too lumpy at all. So we're nearly there. I'm going to leave that for a second, and I'm going to add a bay leaf, and also I'm going to add some thyme, half a teaspoon of thyme, and I'm also going to add just a little bit of garlic. Now, not everybody likes garlic. I'm putting them in whole so that people can see it. If they want to remove it, they can, but it just improves the flavour. So this is going to give us a nice tasty gravy. And it's getting thicker. It's beginning to boil. And this will get poured over the top of the sausages. Then there's one more ingredient to go after that. So it's not too many things that are unusual. They're mostly things that you might well have in the cupboard already. Right, so we're boiling. I'll turn that off. That's going to go over the top of our sausages. Get that turned off. We're going to add an apple. It can be any sort of apple. I don't know that I'd use a Bramley because it's quite sour, but if you've got an eating apple, it doesn't have to be a gorgeous one. You can core it, cut it up and core it, and add it. But if you have got one of these segmenters, this is a perfect way to cut your apple up. Now be very careful, it's very sharp underneath, so put it over the core, just help it cut through the skin, and then go down hard. Never put your hand underneath. When it's stuck like that, push it back down and out of the segmenter, and then you simply drop your pieces of apple in. And that obviously helps with the cider as well. Just reinforces that appley flavour. I've got slightly nasty core on this one, so I'm taking those bits out. And we're nearly there. We're just going to add some pepper, and then it's going to go in the oven. So a twist of pepper, and the oven's going to go on to gas mark 5, which is 190 Celsius, 170 if you've got a fan oven, and it's 375 if you are in America. So, lid goes on, it goes in the oven for an hour. So, middle shelf, it's quite heavy, in it goes, jacket potatoes, crumble, and there's a meal in the oven, and that's going to be in for an hour. Now our sausage casserole has had its hour, so I'm going to turn the oven off and lift it out and show you without burning myself. Here we go. Have a look at this. Have a go, let me know how you get on. Enjoy this one. Bye for now.